I'd actually interviewed Snoop about how he squashed his beef with Suge. Because at one point they were going at it.
Yeah, they was. Yeah, they was.
Were you and Snoop still cool after he left Death Row and went to?
Me and Snoop always been cool from the first time we started messing
Yeah.
with each other. Except the time that we had our little personal conflict.
Right.
But even then, you know, we squashed that water under the bridge and kept moving. So it's really never a time when I've been out here in the streets and in the music business where we haven't been cool.
What was Snoop's real issue with Suge? Because from what I understand, Master P worked out a deal with Suge for Snoop to go to No Limit.
That's what I'd heard.
This was not like a strong arm thing or whatever else. They worked it out as businessmen, and Snoop legally recorded on No Limit.
Right.
So from your point of view, what was the issue between these two men?
I think it was the royalty situation. I think it was probably, the direction that the label was going in. You know, I don't think Snoop probably felt like he belonged anymore after Pop got killed, and, you know, he didn't want to carry all that weight on him, you know, of death row and everything that was attached to it. You know, I think it was a culmination of different things that led to him being dissatisfied with being a death row artist, and, you know, instead of just killing his popularity and status and momentum, he talked to Master P and figured, you know, you like him, he like you, y'all cool, you know, you want to go out there and do what you do with him, you know, it's good. Break me off this, and it was a business deal.
Okay, but they were not friendly after that. What I'm saying is, like, afterwards, they kept kind of going at it with each other.
Oh yeah, it wasn't an amicable separation by no stretch of the imagination. You know, people was putting threats out on people and talking about, you know, oh yeah, you know, your wife called me and told me not to do nothing to you, you know, and things like that. It was getting real personal, and diss songs, pimp slapped, and you know, all that was going on. So yeah, it was shots being consistently fired, but I think that was just the transition of when Suge was in jail, that Snoop was finally able to voice how he really felt without, you know, the presence looming over him, because it was still a gangster situation. You know what I mean? So when Snoop got to talk his shit, I think he just, you know, took advantage of that situation and, you know, blast back like that. But I don't think it was never to the point where they were, if I see you, I'm gonna do this to you, because it was always a business arrangement. And Snoop fighting Suge, that would never happen. It'd be all the people that was around him that was fighting each other. So that's why I think that really didn't blossom too far.
Yeah, I mean, he said the way they finally worked it out was,
a lot of times men, you know, we have tendencies of a female because we don't know how to handle our business like men. It's just a minor conversation, and we were men enough to have that conversation behind closed doors with just me and him. No cameras, no bodyguards, no media. And it was a love conversation because he loves me like I love him. I love everything he done for me as far as my music career, for believing in me and giving me a voice and, you know, just being there for me, just like he loved everything I did for him, building Death Row, building his brand. So we had conversations about what it was and what it could be and what it looks like when we at each other or when we cool with each other. So we made the business decision to be cool with each other, because I don't hate him and he don't hate me.
Suge's an interesting one, man.
He is.
He's an interesting one.
He is. He's a very dominant figure.
Yeah,
in hip-hop.
I mean, because, you know, I've said this in other interviews. If Suge had just sort of adapted to his new situation, he could have been a billionaire right there with Dre.
I saw the paperwork when the company was worth $287 million, and Suge was in jail.
Really?
My manager used to work at Death Row, Candy Brown. And
Okay.
I went to pick up some money up there. And, you know, I was waiting for her to come back, and she had some paperwork on her desk. And I saw the net worth at that time. I was like, yeah, they've been clocking.
287 million.
287.
Well, I think one of Snoop's issues was that, well, number one, like for example, like all his cars and everything weren't even in his name. He said at one point he got pulled over, and they're like, could we see your license, Mr. Knight? And he's like, no, this is my car. And they're like, no, it's not. This is Suge's car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, even though Snoop was getting paid, he was getting kind of like a salary, but not really a piece of his real royalties. And you know what I mean? Like he was getting paid, but not the millions that he was generating.
Oh, I'm very familiar with that.
Really?
Yeah.
So you weren't getting paid either?
Nope. Just getting paid by show or by project, but when you make some noise, okay, here go a check for 40,000 or something like that. It's just like, okay, we working on that, we getting that together, and then you find out your contract ain't really what you thought it was, and it becomes a whole nother situation.
But you were never a death row artist.
No, I'm talking about that Doggy Style.
A Doggy Style.
Yeah, Dogghouse Records.
Okay. That never got worked out either.
Not to this point.